Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the We Outside Podcast, episode 5. I'm Larry. What's good?
And and I'm Trevor. What up, though?
Yeah, so basically, we're coming to you, you know, live right here, but we got a couple of cool topics that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the draft a little bit, the NBA draft. Also, we're going to um, update the latest about the Brendan Sorsby saga, and then we're also going to talk about Father's Day and fatherhood, and we're going to do a new segment today called the We Outside Awards, the highlights of the week, the lowlights of the week, and we'll see how that goes. So you know, as forementioned, so we're just going to jump right into it. The NBA draft is on Tuesday. We got some of the most top heavy draft stock this year. Leading with BYU star AJ DeBonsa, uh, Karen Boozer, Darren Peterson, Darius Acuff, and a couple other guys. So, I want to hear, Trevor's take on the draft, and we'll dive right into that. So, Trevor, if you was the Utah GM, who are you taking number one?
From what I've gathered and from what I've heard, it looks like this draft is going to be pretty deep. It sounds like you can get as good a player from 3 all the way to 10. You can get a pretty solid player in that draft position. But I believe it's the Wizards that have the number 1 pick, and the Jazz have the second pick.
Okay, sorry, my
So what
fault.
I'm so so what I'm curious is like there's a there's a there's a note out that Peterson only met with the Wizards. So does he anticipate he's going to be the number 1 draft pick, or is that just the team he wants to go to? Because from what I understand is he wants to be a star. But there's there's Anthony Davis there, and there's I believe there's a draft pick Alex Sarr. I think Alex Sarr is there. He was there. He got drafted by the Wizards a couple years ago,
Hmm.
and so and I'm just curious, like where guys are going to fall. But if I had to pick, I would take AJ DeBoncha because he reminds me of Tracy McGrady, and I was a huge Tracy McGrady fan. And like the guy, if I'm not mistaken, he led the country in scoring as a freshman, and I think that's big time. And I'm pretty sure that if they could, Utah would want to keep him in Utah. So the way I see it, even if they just say hypothetically, if the Wizards do take Peterson and AJ falls to the Jazz, I would be okay with that. I feel like the Jazz would have stole AJ. But then I worry about the clash because Ace Bailey plays the same position. So let's just say if that happens, what do the Jazz? How do the Jazz make that work? Do they upset Ace Bailey and try to trade him somewhere else to get something good, or how do they work that out? Because both guys can get their own shot,
That is
and that's
true.
what you need. You need as many people that can create their own shot in the NBA, and they both long players, so that'll be an advantage too.
So there's a couple of different ways that you can skin this draft. I've heard various reports, rumors that AJ doesn't want to go to Washington. You know, I've heard that, you know, the Jazz would want to draft AJ, but then again, Carlos Boozer works for the Jazz. So you kind
Mm.
of hear the rumblings of Cameron could possibly go there. So there's a lot of different like rumblings that you're hearing amongst this stuff. My big question is, the Jazz, I mean, if you think about it, The Jazz have Anthony Davis, Alex Sarr, Trey Young.
Wizards.
The Wizards, yeah, they have those three pieces right there.
Yeah, Trey Young is an unrestricted free agent though.
That is true too. I forgot about that. So I don't. Do I foresee Trey staying there? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
But if I was drafting, I'm going to take Darius Acuff. The
Number
reason
one,
why I'm going to take him, yes, this is going to be,
there's
controversial.
there's Acuff. There's Acuff is from Detroit. So what up, though, Darius?
So, I mean, I love this dude's game. Like, now I'm a Duke fan. I love Cameron Boozer to death. Player of the year, everything. But at a 6'2", 6'3" point guard that's physical, can get his shot off. I mean, he is. I think he has the biggest upside out of everybody, including AJ DeBonson.
Yeah, I can see him being a star. And it was interesting that you brought up his name. Calipari mentioned that he's probably the best guard he didn't coached. And Calipari had quite a few guards. He had Derrick Rose, he had John Wall, he had Jamal Murray. The list goes on and on. So if he's saying that he thinks Darius Acuff is better than those guys, if I'm not mistaken, Derrick Rose won the MVP. And
Mm-hmm.
the other guys have been all stars. Oh yeah, Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey went to Kentucky too.
And
So
and
he's
Shea Alexander with the Kentucky.
yeah, and that says a lot. If he's saying Darius Acuff is better than those guys, that says a lot right there because he's seen quite a few guards come out of his program at both Arkansas and at Kentucky.
I mean, I just think that with him, his ceiling is. If you saw him, like I saw him play in the NCAA tournament and a little bit of the SEC tournament, and I was like, this dude is dynamic. He's quick, explosive, tough. He's a tough kid, and I just
And the
see.
kid, I won't, I won't call him a kid, but the guy already had a shoe deal before he even walked off campus. He had a shoe deal.
He signed with who?
I want to say it was Reebok.
Reebok. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I want to say it's Reebok.
Yeah, yeah, because Shaq is the president of basketball, and AI is the vice president of basketball at Reebok. So
Mm,
yeah, so
yeah,
this is going to be a very interesting draft. A lot of you know,
and
from
and it's a
to
couple
your
other
point,
guys.
from
And it's a couple of other guys I like in the draft too, not just those top heavy guys. Because I know Ade Mara, not to be a homer from Michigan, he's an intriguing prospect too because a lot of people like his size and his skill set and feel like they can use that. So that would be a good one.
the kid from my dark horse in the draft is the kid from Illinois, Keaton Wagner.
Wagler. Yeah, I
Wagner
like I
Wagner.
like him too.
That that dude reminds me of Steph Curry. Like if I see
It's just a
him,
big, it's a bigger version.
yeah, he's a taller version. I mean, when I saw them play the Elite Eight and Final Four game. I mean, now the
Hmm.
Final Four, he kind of got shut down in the Final Four by UConn, but that Elite Eight game he was playing in, he was unconscious. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the draft is Tuesday, so we're gonna see
It's
who
one.
pans out.
I want to drop one more guy too.
Mm-hmm.
I like Nate Ament that played at Tennessee. I think he's intriguing
Yes.
too because of his size and his skill set.
he like see the thing. So this is my thing with him, and by no fault of his own, this is like no fault of his own, but I
Yeah,
wish he would have went to a different school
he probably should have went to a
because
different school. I agree.
I mean Tennessee. I mean, when you think of, I mean, now Tennessee has improved in basketball, cool, but for him to go there, I was a little bit like, really going to Tennessee?
I,
Like,
yeah, I think he probably went there just to get get shots up and be a star instead of playing it on a team that's going to be competitive
yeah, I
and
mean,
be
they
prepared for
were
the next level
competitive.
too.
They were competitive. It was just that, like, you know, when you kind of like saw him, it was kind of like he's an afterthought, like a little bit though. You know what I mean? Like, he did go off in some games, true, but
He
he kind
disappeared
of
or
like,
something too.
yeah, he disappeared and he just like blended in. So it was kind of like, yo, what do you do? So, the draft is on Tuesday. You know, um, again, we'll see what happens. There's going to be a lot of interesting things that could happen. Trades could happen, pick swaps could happen. I know some teams
Yeah,
have multiple picks, so
and who knows what star players on the move?
yep. And I hate to say this, but OKC could be richer, even more so because they have a bunch of draft capital.
Yeah, there is a rumor that he could wind up. I mean, Giannis Antetokounmpo could wind up on OKC. I hear Miami's a front runner, but Milwaukee doesn't like the package they put together. But I got a feeling OKC has the ability to swoop in and snag them. Even and the Spurs as well. The Spurs could probably do the same thing.
I mean, yeah, this is going to be a real interesting draft, not just because of the prospects, but the teams trying to maneuver to see picks, trade picks, players. I mean, who knows what could happen? I mean, it's every year in the draft. There's always a pick swap or something.
Yeah. I'm always a fan of it because I like to see where guys are going to go and how they would fit in their next destination. That's why I love the draft.
Do you have a dark horse in this draft?
I don't necessarily have a dark horse per se, but I would like to see um, Yaxel Lindenborg.
Mhm.
I think he would be a perfect fit for like a team like the Thunder and the Warriors because those teams are trying to win now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's a good fit for a team that's trying to like build a team or build a culture together. I think he's one of those guys you can just plug in. He can play. He can contribute as soon as he steps on the court.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Mo Johnson from Michigan. I think he would be an interesting pickup too because he has a lot of versatility on the defensive end. And once he gets like a 3-point shot, he'll be a pretty good NBA player as well. I sound like a Michigan homer, but
You do, you do. Okay, they win a national championship. We get it. We get it. I get it. You know, but my dark horse is somebody from your neck of the woods, Cole Pete.
yeah, I think a lot of teams is probably because Cole Pete is really good, but from what I understand, I love Koa. I had him on my high school radio show for Arizona Sports. Shout out to them. But he does a lot of things really well, but he doesn't do anything great.
Mhm.
And he doesn't have a three ball yet. Once he gets a three ball, he will definitely stick in the NBA for a while. And a lot of people have him down in the 20s. But I
Mhm.
think him down that low, I think he could be possibly a steal as well because Cole's won on pretty much every level of basketball he's played on.
That is true.
His
And
he
real quick story about Koa. So when I was coaching at Kiwanis Tennis Center, I coached two of his sisters when they were real little, and Koa,
yeah
he was real little. He was like 3 or 4, and like I would always talk to him and his mom. Like their whole family are athletes. Like
yeah
you know they're
oh yeah
athletes. The older Andres is a offensive tackle. Their dad played football. The sisters, they play basketball, Division 1. So that's a real athletic family. So
yeah. His brother Cassius played at Michigan State.
yeah. So I mean, Koa, I mean, that's my dark pick. And sentimentally, I'm pulling for him. So, shout out to Koa and the whole Pete family. Hopefully,
Yeah
Koa, is going to, I know he's going to do great things in the league. So that's my dark horse, though. So,
yeah yeah. I'm not worried about Koa in the NBA per se. I'm worried about him developing his jump shot
mm,
from the 3-point range because like if you watch him at Arizona, when he got from the free throw line down, that dude was unstoppable.
dominant. He was
And
dominant.
then and then like he's a winner. And like really teams look for guys like that because they want guys that want to win and make winning plays. And Cole can do that for any team that selects him. So whoever selects him is gonna get a really good player.
Shout out to Coach Sammy D at Perry High School. Used to be the basketball coach at Coron del Sol. That coach. Coach Sammy D. He's a winner there, so I got to give flowers to him. So yeah. So switching gears a little bit. So we're going to talk about this Brendan Sorsby saga. So last podcast we discussed that he dropped his lawsuit, which makes him permanently ineligible. Just to give you a quick recap about that, he was found out to be gambling at 2 schools that he played at. NCAA um, declared him permanently ineligible. He filed a lawsuit against the NCAA. And then he filed an injunction which overturned him to be eligible. Once that happened, the Big 12 conference and the NCAA didn't like it. The Big 12 conference met with the schools and everything like that. And then on Monday afternoon, a report surfaced out that he was going to withdraw his lawsuit, which makes him permanently ineligible. And then on Wednesday, he said that he is going to enter in the supplemental draft, and I believe his pro day is in a couple weeks. So,
Yeah, sometime in July.
with all that being unpacked, who do you see him going to?
Well, it's definitely gonna want to be one of the teams that's bad, for sure. But the thing is, if I understand the rules correctly, if they take Sorsby, they're giving up picks.
They'll
And
give up
then
the
do
pick
you
that the round that they allegedly drafted him in. They will give up that pick for next year's draft.
they give it up Pepe? Yeah. So basically, are you willing to give up a second and a third for this guy? Is the question. But I did see that there's at least 29 teams that's going to be at his pro day. So clearly there's some interest. So whoever's very interested in Sorsby is going to have to do a lot of work to make sure this guy is good. He's going to have people around him to make sure he's not going back down that rabbit hole of the gambling. And he also is going to need all the support Because like basically, if a team is going all in on, well, wouldn't say they're going all in, but if they're gonna make this selection, they're gonna have to live with this selection for quite some time. Because even if let's just say like I'll pick on the Cardinals. Let's just say if the Cardinals select them,
Mhm.
basically what they're saying is they hoping that either him or Carson Beck hit. So they got to hit on the quarterback. And
Mhm.
like the Cardinals is one of those teams where it's okay if they do take that chance because I even heard an analyst say like, "Hey, keep drafting the quarterback every year until you get it right." And this is the Cardinals' opportunity to do so because even if let's just say they throw him out there like week 12 or something like that, and he has a bad game, they got to be ready, and he has to be ready for, hey, do you think Sorsby's throwing the game if he threw 2 interceptions or he only threw for 100 yards this game? They got to be ready. Anybody who drafts him has to be ready for those type of questions. And that's going to follow him throughout his career until he cleans it up.
Mhm. So this situation reminds me of Brian Bosworth, I'm in the 80s. Because if you think about it, if we go way back for a second, though, Brian Bosworth got suspended by the NCAA for using steroids, and they made him permanently eligible. So he had to go to the supplemental draft. Now,
Mm,
the Boz, he was talented, like very talented. Like he was an All American at Oklahoma and everything like that.
hmm
So this kind of reminds me of that, though.
hmm
Quarterback wise, I mean, if 29 teams are interested, I mean, somebody's going to bite. But are they going to like be rich to pick him up though? Like, are they going to like
Yeah.
draft him first or second? Because Bosworth, he was drafted, I think, in the third round of the
hmm
supplemental draft, if I can remember correctly. With
hmm
that being said, everything that you said is on point. A team has to believe in him. A team has to do their due diligence on him. They
Oh,
have
100%.
to. They like because the thing with him, you're betting on your teams, and you allegedly, I don't want to get sued, allegedly bet made like thousands of bets or hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever. You
Yeah.
know, so teams have to look at that and they're going to be like, okay, well, are you going to come here and do that? Because in the NFL, character do matter to a certain degree
Oh,
because
yeah.
you have to protect the shield.
And, and character has cost some players in the draft as well, too.
Hmm.
Now you could be you could be a first round talent and get drafted in the fourth or whatever. Because you hear that at every draft. Oh, this guy had first round talent, but he had off the field issues, and this is why he failed so far.
Yeah, so I
And
mean,
it, and then and another nice little nugget about Sorsby, I've heard if he would have been in this draft, he would have went before Ty Simpson. And if he
ooh,
was to be, and if he were to play this season, he was a top 3 quarterback in this year's draft.
that's
So
interesting.
if you
That's
if you take him now, you kind of you get a year of him already in your system already. You don't, and if you feel confident going forward with him, you can use your draft capital on something else. Because you just, I hate to keep picking on the Cardinals. Let's just say the Cardinals pick number 2 or number 1. They can get a lot of capital for that pick.
hmm I mean, I'm just curious to see who takes him from the standpoint of how is he going to fit in the quarterback. I mean, because is he going to start right away? Is he going to sit a year? I mean
You
that's
have to
that's what I'm
you
thinking.
have to you have to you have to believe that he's going to at least have some type of suspension. I don't know if that's 4 games, 5 games, 6 games, the whole season. He's probably going to get some type of suspension because if I remember
I think
correctly,
he is. I
Calvin
mean,
Ridley,
honestly,
he got caught sports betting and he had to sit out for a whole year.
yeah. But the difference between Calvin Ridley and him, he did it
He's
in
already in the
college.
NFL.
Calvin Ridley did it in the NFL. So that's the difference. I don't think he's going to sit.
Yeah,
Now, could the NFL retroactively do something? Who knows?
yeah.
That's the thing. I don't think the NFL is going to. I don't think they are going to retroactively suspend him.
I think
If
they
they
are.
do, hey, lesson learned. Don't do it.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I think that basically, I think the NFL is going to do something to make an example out of him.
mm,
And it's like if you don't come into our league, this is what it is.
no, that's fair. No, that's fair. No, that's fair. Um, so Sorsby, we'll see what happens at his pro day. I'm assuming the supplemental draft is in August sometime. I don't know when in August, you know, but we'll see how that goes. Um,
Hmm.
so now Father's Day. What the? I guess we just lost Trevor, so um, we'll get him back up shortly here.
Mm.
Yeah, so I guess we lost Trevor for a little bit, something with the connection. Um, so we're gonna keep this going a little bit until Trevor comes back on. So we are going to talk about fatherhood a little bit, because Father's Day is
This folder.
Sunday, and you know one of the most greatest joys that a man has is bringing in a child. So so we are going to discuss that a little bit as soon as Trevor gets back on. um I'm going to be very open and very transparent because that's how I operate. One thing about me is that I'm an open book. I live my life that way, you know. So, a lot of people that I know, they don't know the story about 18 years ago. Uh, yeah, about 18 years ago, and I don't know if Trevor, uh, if he knows about this story that I'm about to tell, though. So, 18 years ago, um, I brought in a beautiful baby girl. However, 5 minutes after she was born, she passed. So, so fatherhood is a very touchy subject with me, because I had a stillborn daughter. And, one of the things that I often think about is what she would be like right now. And, every Father's Day, I take some time, I reflect, and I just sit back and I'm like, you know, I wonder what my daughter could be like. Like my daughter, she could, you know, right about now, she'll, like her and I could be packing to go to college right now. And, it's one of those things that, it's a very touchy subject with me though, and that's why fatherhood means a lot to me though, and and Trevor, Trevor's a dad of three, you know, a girl dad of three. I'll say that. So oh my bad, Trevor, phone dropping. And one of the things that that I want everybody to like take stock in is that being a dad, is one of the most greatest joys in this world. And Trevor is the perfect person that I can ask about this stuff because I've been around his family for a number of years. I've his daughters, you know, I consider to be my nieces, and you know, like just some things that us men we don't talk about. We can talk about sports all day and everything like that, but we don't get the chance to talk about life and fatherhood. So I think today is a perfect date where like we can sit down and talk about these things about being a dad though. So Trevor, I'm just going to ask you though this question though. Um, you know, what does it mean to you to be a dad though?
First, before I answer that question, I want to give kudos to you for sharing that story about uh, a stillborn daughter. That has to be like a devastating feeling, and I'm sure that you probably think about that quite often. So I commend you for sharing that with all our listeners. But being a dad is probably one of the greatest gifts and the greatest jobs you can ever ask for because you get to like you get to share some of your experiences. You get to be able to like guide and coach your kids through certain things to help them get through things that they are going through every day. You can like as a parent, you're the counselor, you're the therapist, you're the you're the judge, the jury, you're all that. You wear many hats. And then one thing about being a parent, the job doesn't stop. Even from what I've been told, like even if your kids are adults, they're still going to rely on you for certain things because they feel like there's there's just so much more you can share. You have them develop as being great people, and like and then like what everybody should know by now that I got three daughters. I have a 19, soon to be 17, and a 9-year-old, and we have our days where we kind of don't like each other, but we know at the end of the day we do love each other, and then like everybody's grown up, and that's one of the things. That's one of the beautiful things is as a parent you get to see your kids grow up. Like I always wanted my daughters. I thought I was going to be raising three basketball players. That's not the case. I got my oldest daughter Trisha was in orchestra. She's into makeup, and then True, she's a cheerleader. She's gifted in ceramics. And then Trinity, she's probably the grownest person in the house at 9 years old. She tell everybody what to do. She thinks she runs the household, but that's the baby. And like we haven't really figured out what she's going to be able to do, but you can look and tell about Trinity that she's really gifted. And I think whatever she does and wherever she puts her mind to, she's going to be really good and really great at it. And it just watching them grow and then like the thing is like they're go-getters. And that's one of the things I always appreciated about my late wife December. She was a go-getter. And I'm pretty sure they picked that up from her.
Mm,
One of the things that I can always count on, like if I'm having a bad day, like they can feel it and they can tell. And like I could be sitting there, sitting and watching TV, and like I need somebody to talk to, or I just need an interaction from them. Like they'll come in and sit with me and give me their life story, and I'll be sitting there. And the thing is, all three of them will come in at the same time, and I'll be like, wait a minute, one at a time. Let's get one. Let's get one story at a time. Like, Dad, let's do. I did this. This is what I did. This is what happened. And so taking all that in at once is a good thing. But then after they give me their story, they go away, and I'll be like, wait, come back. I need y'all to come back. So like, yeah, being a dad is it's a beautiful thing. I love it. I wouldn't trade it for nothing. And then it's like this. It's like one of those things. Is we all we got, and like I got them and they got me, and we gonna ride this ride, and we gonna do what we can to make it.
That's dope. That's dope, and that's powerful, man. I mean, like you, I mean, granted, I've been around you and your daughters and a long time, and one of the things that that I've seen personally firsthand is you never lose your cool. You know, you always are like even keel with your daughters. Has that been taught? Have you had to like teach yourself to be that way, or or like or when you were growing up, it was just like that, or something different?
It was more like you had to teach yourself that because you got to remember you got girls and like you don't want that. My thing is I didn't want them to think you. I want them to understand that as a male person in their lives, you got to be respected.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I see it, the way if I'm treating them with respect, they know what that looks like. And if anybody's disrespectful towards them, they know what it is and they can walk away from it and not stay in it. And that's one of the things I always worry about with them. But knowing them and how they are, they know when to walk away or not deal with certain things because I can give you an example, like for True, for instance. Like she'll get on my case about like just like a small thing, like leaving my wallet in the car. And she'd be like, I don't got time for you. You get on my nerves. Why you keep leaving your wallet in the car? Don't you know that people could like break in your car and not and take your wallet? You need to stop doing that. Then she started turning to mom on me. So and I'm like, who you think you talking to? And she be like, well, I'm talking to you, man, because you just don't you just don't be acting right.
Wow. Now, True. So, just to give the listeners some context, True is the 17-year-old, and True will
Soon to be
speak to her
17,
mom.
yes.
She
Yeah.
will speak. She will speak
Actually
to her
all
mom regardless.
yeah, no matter what. She gonna say what she need to say, and if you don't like it, she be like, that's your problem, not hers.
Yeah. So, when you were on this journey, on fatherhood or whatever, like, did you and your late wife plan on having kids, or was it like, oh, it just happened? Now I know.
A little bit
Now
of
we know
both.
about the third one, so I'll let you tell that story.
Yeah, we always planned on it. We just didn't know the timing. I mean, the way I see it, uh, they come when the time is right.
Mhm.
And yeah, we thought we was gonna be done after True, but then next thing you know, Trinity shows up, and so her nickname is Whoops. But
Whoops! I love
but
it.
yeah, we definitely planned on because I honestly because I was always a fan of the Cosby Show. I wanted like at least 5 kids because I always wanted a big old house with
Mhm.
lots of kids running around the house making noises. Everybody having like back and forth, having family meetings and stuff like that. That's what I wanted.
Mhm.
But then it got to a point where I remember when we went back to Michigan for I forgot what we was going back for. Happened to see a friend in like Five Below, and she saw the older two because the older two was moving around the store by themselves, and Trinity was still in a car seat, well, a baby carrier. And then she just looked at us like, "See, y'all done started over, huh?" We was like, "Yeah." And then it's like, once they go to school, you got to stop. And so we was like, "Well, we wish somebody would have kind of said that beforehand. We didn't think about it that way, but she's here. We love her to death. I wouldn't change nothing because she's been a breath of fresh air for the family and for the household. Everywhere she's basically a celebrity at my old job where I was used to work at. Everybody knows her from gym members to staff that work there. Everybody knows her, so she's a celebrity there.
Yeah. Trin, that's the baby right there, and she like pretty much anytime I like FaceTime her, it's I see that she's a joy, breath of fresh air, man. I mean, she's just like that spark, man. But you know,
Yeah, yeah, and the thing is, what's funny about the girls is whenever they FaceTime you, they get on you sometimes.
they really do. They really do. I mean, they're like, so when are you gonna have kids? I'm like, well, hopefully, maybe. I mean, and I mean, just to like be real though, be transparent. I mean, you know, I want to be a dad though. And, being a dad, man, is to me, that would mean the world to me because I think I got like so much to give to somebody and just to like, not just, you know, my love of sports and my love of the things that I do, whatever, just to like help grow somebody else, because,
Yeah,
in coaching, it's like, yeah, you coach, but at the end of 2 or 3 hours, they go home. With
right.
your child, you're there 24/7. And, it's one of those things that, you know, it's just a lifelong process and just wanting to see somebody that looks like you or have your demeanor, your features, your personality a little bit. I mean, that's something that I've longed for, like, for the longest though.
Yeah, what I like about it is you get to notice their gifts, and you get to kind of guide them on their gifts because Trishan is pretty creative with. She can play like 3 or 4 instruments now.
Mm,
She's a really good singer. She's been good at putting on makeup since she was 2 years old. She was putting on makeup better than her mom.
damn.
And so, yeah. And then like True is pretty creative too. Like I love it when she comes home with when she makes pots and she made teapots in her ceramics class. I
Mm,
love seeing that because me, that skill didn't come from me. I know that for sure.
yeah.
It's like, where did that come from? Did she always have it? Did her mom give that to her? But then like, and then with Trinity, I think Trinity has all that. And it's like I can't wait to see when she finds out what she's good at. And that way you can push her to that area and be like, hey, focus on this. This is what you're really good at.
That's dope. I mean, that's dope because, like, as a coach, I see parents and pushing their kids to be the best tennis player, whatever. And like, it's kind of like with me, like, if I'm a parent, I mean, first and foremost, I mean, when I become a parent, I'm going to be a parent. I'm not going to coach my kid because I kind of like seen how that works a little bit. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to like affect my personal relationship, because you have to put on two different hats. You got to be coach, then you got to be dad. My thing is,
Mm-hmm.
I always want to be dad. Like, so, like, whoever my wife is or whatever, I'm going to say, listen, I will get them started, at a small age, but once they get to a certain level, I'm turning them over to somebody else. Now, I'll navigate, I'll help you in terms of give you advice from certain perspective, but I'm not going to like be that coach. I'm just going to be dad.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think
because
like
you got to step back. You got to step back a little bit.
you do. Now, with that being said, did you, I don't want to say force, did you like guide your kids through sports or did you just naturally just let that happen?
Well, I tried to force basketball on them. It got to a point where they won't even watch a basketball game with me. So now like I start noticing that they start picking up things what like their friends are doing. So then that's when I took a step back and let it play out
Mm,
because there was at one point Tristan and True were both playing instruments, but like Tristan was like she was playing the viola, and Tristan was in the first chair for violas from sixth grade all the way up to her junior year in high school. And so she played the viola all the way up until her junior, well, basically till she graduated. And then True was playing the saxophone, but she didn't like it. And so I told her, I was like, just because, Tristan is, into the instruments and music doesn't mean you have to do it. You can find your own way, figure out what you want to do. And so she wanted to do volleyball. That didn't work out. But then she was determined that she's like, look, I'm making so her sophomore year in high school, she said, I'm making a team. I'm trying out for everything. Cause she tried out for cheer and she thought about going out for track because her mom ran track.
mm,
But next thing you know, she made she made JV. No, she made JV as a freshman. I'll take that back. She made JV as a freshman, and then sophomore year she made varsity. And so once she made varsity, cheer took up all the time, so track was out.
mm,
It's and so now with Trinity, it's more like trying to figure out what she wants to do. Like she says she wants to play basketball. We'll see.
mm,
But I think, like I said before, whatever she decides to do, I think she's going to thrive in it because I I think I think she's really gifted compared to the other two. She's really gifted, and
mm,
she's seen how. And then she kind of got like the trial run. I was watching her two older sisters how they operate,
mm,
and so she already picking up like information and knowledge on how to do things. So that's why I feel like no matter what she does, I think she's going to thrive at it. It's just whatever she wants to do. I mean, I got to give her that nice little nudge and be like, hey, you're good at it. You should keep going. I
mm.
think that's all she needs.
Yeah. I mean, that's dope, man. You navigating with three kids, their different paths, different journeys through athletics, activities, that's dope. And the thing that I love the most is that like you didn't like force feed them. You let them discover because one thing I tell parents as a coach, you gotta if the kid's not passionate about it, they're not going to want to do it. They have to look
Mhm.
forward to like being in the sport or the activity that they do. Because if you try and say, hey, we gotta go to piano class. Get your butt down here. And the kid's like, I don't wanna go. And then it starts all
Yeah.
friction and then they act up and it's
Then
just
they resent
like
you.
yeah, exactly. And that's the one thing that, you know, that like, I can like appreciate about your about your parenting though. So who inspires you to be the best dad that you could possibly be?
Well, I have a couple, and it's basically my uncles. I got to give a shout out to my uncle David and my
Mm-hmm.
uncle Roy.
Uncle
Rest in
Dave's the
peace.
man.
Uncle Tyrone. Uncle Tyrone, rest in peace. And my Uncle Nate, rest in peace. Because like I watched how they operate as men and as fathers. They was always available. And then whenever anybody needed anything, they were one of the first ones to show up to assist in any way. And I was just like, these are things that I need that I want to be when I'm being a parent because don't get me wrong, I love my dad, but he wasn't really in the picture like that. I'll just be transparent and be honest about it. He wasn't in my life that much. And luckily I had those men around to help guide me to make me the person I am today. Because if I didn't have those guys around, who knows what type of person I would turn out to be. And I gotta give shout outs to a couple of coaches too. Coach Kirkland, Raymond Jones, Coach Stocker, Coach Wilkerson, Coach Pendleton, like almost the entire Northwestern high school staff. All those men stepped in and guided me through things as well during high school. They made me believe I was better than I was, and I appreciate them for that. So there's been a lot of male figures in my life to make sure that I was be a decent young man in society. So I definitely appreciate those guys for what they done, what they taught me, what they showed me. Because who knows where I would be at or the type of person I would be without them.
And I think like you just hit something that was powerful, what you just said. Like, you know, yes, we had our grandmothers and our mothers, but it takes, men to help us navigate this thing in life because, I mean, in my situation, I mean, my my grandmother raised me and, my father, he was in and out of jail and doing his thing or whatever. And one of the things that I learned, from my grandfather, he passed when I was like 9 years old. He taught me a lot. And then when he passed, my Uncle Pete, shout out to him. I'm sure you remember him at the wedding when he gave that famous speech.
Yes, yeah. He
The,
thought, but I think the funny thing is he thought I was from Rochester. I'm like, no, I'm not from Rochester. He's like, no, I mean you look familiar, man. I'm like, no, not from there.
nah, but gotta give him a shout out though. But my Uncle Pete, like, I'll say this about him. Very generous, loving dude. I love him to death, you know, and he had his issues or whatever. And like, for us young black men, I think we need to have like male figures that look like us and that came from where he came from. And and I'm pretty sure that Pops, give him a huge shout out because without him, yo, there's no me. And I've said that since day one,
Mm,
and like, one thing that I think both of our fathers have has transitioned. You know, the one piece of mind that that I have. You know, when he passed. Like a week before he passed, like I sat next to him on his deathbed, and I said, Pops. I said, Pop, I forgive you. I forgive you for
mm,
everything that you've done. That was, for me to let that go,
yeah,
because, you know, as you get older and you don't want to take the burdens that they've done and take it out on your
yeah,
children.
Yeah, that's one thing I
So
never wanted to do either. Yeah, because I was angry at my dad for a long time, and I had to let it. I finally let it go because I just said I didn't want to do similar things like other dads, like not be there for their kids. And I always told myself I got to see my kids every day, no matter
mhm.
what. Like no matter what the situation is with whoever the mom was. This was even before me and December had kids. I always told myself, no matter who's the mother of my kids, I got to see my kids every day, no matter what.
And I think that like a lot of us men, we get like these labels in society where we're deadbeats, we're absentee, we're not good dads, and it's part of it is out of spite, part of it is for whatever other reason, and then part of it is because like people don't allow a dad to be a dad. I think that that kind of affects relationships with their children.
Yeah,
And I think that what you just said right there, that you made a decision early in your life, excuse me, to say, hey, I want to be a part of my kid's life every single day. Whoever the mother
hmm
is. And I mean, that's like a very commendable thing that for me you get like the utmost respect for me. But I do have one last question though. um what would you want your legacy to be as a dad?
legacy. Oh, that's a good one. I just wanted to be like that he did it. Like I want my kids to be like, yeah, he was there, he cared, and like just want to be remembered for always always just being there, no matter what, for anybody. Like being that support system, being that shoulder that they need to cry on. I just want to be known as he was always there. He never gave up on us. He saw the goodness in us. He saw greatness in us. But yeah, that's a tough one, man, because it's just so much you want. Because like I know I got this is just a humble brag on my kids. I know I got some talented and gifted kids,
Hmm?
and I wanted to be like this that Henry family because my aunt Ramona will always call us those damn Henrys. I always want people to say like them damn Henrys. They got a lot of stuff going on. Not like the Wayans, like stuff like that, but I wanted to be like, oh, Trevor was Trevor was great, but his daughters they like raised they took the bar even higher than what Trevor took it. Because you always want your kids to do a whole lot better than you did.
Exactly. I mean, I think that's with all families, is that like,
Yeah,
we both surpassed our parents. Now it's up to this, our generation of kids to surpass us in some ways. And, I think you're you're spot on, and you're on the right track to that though. And I mean, as a dude that has known you for as long as I have, I mean, I'm biased a little bit. I don't care. But I mean, in my eyes or whatever, I mean, you are one of the great dads that I know. And I know that my nieces, I mean, you know they are privileged and blessed to have you as a dad. So I mean, just
yeah, I
keep doing the
appreciate that.
things,
And it's
man.
funny. Yeah, I appreciate that. But it's funny, everybody always say, like, how are you doing this? I'm like, I don't know, you just do it. Cause like I work out like 3 days. Well, I used to work out 3 days a week. I'm gonna keep it real. Used to work out 3 days a week, but I play basketball 3, 4 days out of the week. Work two jobs. It's like how you doing this? And then I basically cook dinner every day because that's how I grew up. My mom cooked dinner every day, so and everybody's blown away. Like how you got time to do all this stuff? And I was like, I just make it work. That's just
Yeah,
what it is.
basically, you put one foot in front of the other, and you just do it. Being a dad, it's a thankless job,
It
but
is.
you make it from your story and what you shared. You make it worthwhile, and I hope a lot of dads see this and become inspired by it because you are a single dad of three now. And you know, there's no I quit, I can't, none of that. So hopefully somebody is inspired by you, inspired by the story.
Oh yeah, for sure. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Fathers, shout out to all of the fathers out there. You guys make life happen. You make life go. And, I just encourage you guys to just, you know, whether you're an absentee father or not there with your kids, I want to implore you. Granted, I'm not a dad. Well, I am a dad, but I'm not a dad. I just want to implore you to be there, be active, be supportive, be in your child's life, whatever the issue with the mother, you know, at the end of the day, the kids didn't cause a problem. So let's just, as men, let's step up and be men. All right. So, and again, happy Father's Day to all the fathers, pops. Happy Father's Day. You're probably, going to watch this. So happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to all of my siblings. You know, I will leave this last thought. Considering having a father in and out of jail, my siblings are some pretty damn good dads, and I gotta give them a shout out too because these dudes make it happen for their kids, and my nephews are, even though sometimes they act like little brats or whatever, but I know that they are eternally grateful to have them. So
Yeah, so happy Father's Day to all the dads.
yes, fathers, happy Father's Day.
Even if it's hard, you still gotta keep going.
Yes. All right. So we are going to do a new segment called the We Outside Awards. So a highlight, and then we're going to celebrate lowlights this week of the We Outside Awards. So my first highlight of the We Outside, the winner, the New York Knicks. Gotta say it. Sorry, not
I,
sorry.
it's, I think it's fair to say the entire city of New York. it's,
You know what? The entire city of New York.
I have a strong feeling that they probably still partying. And
Oh
like the guy
yeah.
that cuts my hair, shout out to Ali. He's a New York fan. He's like, I'm going there next week, and I hope they still partying. And I was like, I bet you do.
I ain't gonna lie. I was contemplating on taking off work to go into the parade, but once I saw how much those flights were, I was like, nah, I'm good. I was like, not
I
going
watch
to
it
be
on
able to
TV.
do it.
Not gonna be able to do it.
Exactly. To quote the great Jalen Rose, not going to be able to do it. So, uh, now a low light. We kind of talked about this person earlier in the
Oh,
podcast. Brendan
oh
Sorsby.
boy.
How are you? Okay, I'm sorry, but I gotta say this. You get caught gambling. You sue, get an injunction to play. Your court case is until February of next year, and you drop your lawsuit. So basically, you did all this for nothing. So
Blew all that smoke for nothing.
So you, so that's the low, that's the low award this week. The low of the We Outside Awards, because you just waste everybody's
I
time.
I agree. You took the
Everybody's
words right out
time.
of my mouth. Just about to say that.
And you wasted the billionaire's money, which I'm guessing he probably doesn't care anyway, because he's a billionaire. But because we know
Yeah.
because we know you're not hiring that dude off of your salary, or could
No,
you?
absolutely not.
I don't know, but nah, but. So those are the lowlights of the week. I mean, highlights and lowlights of the week. We will continue to do, the We Outside awards next week as well. Hopefully, we'll come up with two other candidates that Trevor will pick, and Trevor will roast them or praise them, and does what he does with those. So that was another episode of We Outside. Guys, appreciate the support, appreciate the love that,
Yes, we do. Appreciate y'all.
shown here. You know, you know, we are on multiple streams. YouTube, type in We Outside Podcast. It's We_outside podcast. Same thing on Instagram, We_outside podcast. You know, you can check out our personal Instagram. Trevor's. I don't know. You want to share yours again?
Yeah, it's Trevor_Henry 30, or is it .Henry? It's one of those two.
And mine is Coach LH_tennis. So, thank you guys. Be sure to follow us, follow the podcast. Hopefully, we'll be we'll be we'll be we'll be updated and better next week. So appreciate the love. Again, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Enjoy your day. And, hopefully you guys will make somebody's life better. Trevor, do you have anything tomorrow that you're going to be doing tomorrow?
Hopefully, get some sleep tomorrow because it's been a week. But I'm pretty sure the girls want to do something fun or something nice for me. So I'm taking the day in for whatever's coming my way.
That's what's up. So, again, thank you guys for tuning in. Tune in next week. You know, we don't know exactly what we're going to talk about next week. We'll probably recap the draft and any other sports news or topics or pop culture. And we'll see what happens. All right. Thank you guys again. We'll see you next week.
All right. Holla.